So I'm sure you guys have seen by now, UEFA have decided to be annoying and make a new rule stopping Manchester United from signing Todibo. And that is of course a big problem. I think a lot of our transfer plans and business this summer was to get Todibo in for that right centre-back position, which leaves United in a spot of bother because we still need that profile. It's difficult to find that profile, but we're going to do our best today. So what do we need? We need someone like Todibo, who is a ball-playing defender, comfortable on the ball, and can either progress via the carry or the pass, ideally both. We need someone who is a very good channel defender, someone who is athletic, can cover a lot of space, and be a good 1-versus-1 defender. And then we also need someone who is good aerially to go alongside Lisandro Martinez. So that's the criteria. Let me tell you some players. So we'll start off with Tapsoba, 25 years old, standing at 6'2" tall. I have spoken about him before fairly recently. He would be a very good option for Manchester United. Unfortunately, nowhere near as cheap as Todibo. I think we're looking at more, £50 million, I would guess. I think he would cost a fair bit of money. But in terms of what you're getting on the ball, you're getting a quality player. Someone who ticks the box of being extremely comfortable in the first phase. Of course, he played in a Leverkusen side that dominated the ball. We've spoken about this recently. He's very, very comfortable on the ball. More than happy to use both feet to control the ball. And he can move forward from there. In terms of being a progressive centre-back, when United move into a shape like this, can he pass the ball forward? Yes, he can. Can he carry the ball forward? Again, yes, absolutely he can. How about the defensive side of the game? He's ticking the boxes of what he does on the ball, but how about off the ball? Can he be a channel defender? Yes. Tall, strong, quick, athletic, and a very good 1-versus-1 player. Comfortable moving into these wider positions, getting isolated by a winger. He is comfortable in these positions. He trusts his own physical capabilities, but also his defensive technical capabilities. His ability to time the slide tackle right, the slam tackle as well. Knowing when to commit and when to back off a little bit, giving the player a bit of time on the ball. Tapsoba is really, really good in these situations. So I think, again, he would be a brilliant option for Manchester United in that way. He would allow us to play with a high line and to play in a high press. And the other reason he would allow us to play in a high press is because he's decent aerially as well. We've discussed before, when you press well, teams will often go long to get out of it. Tapsoba can be the sort of player to combat that, because he is strong in the air, but not elite. We're not talking about an elite aerial presence, we're talking about a good one. So the strengths on the ball, he is very comfortable playing from the back in terms of, as the team moves forward, he is comfortable progressing the play into midfield via the pass or the carry. He defends channels well, he is quick, he is athletic, he is fast, but aerially, just a little bit weak, but definitely a good option still. Next up, 24-year-old Trevoh Chalobah, currently playing for Chelsea, 24 years old, so a little bit younger than Tapsoba, but quite a similar skill set. And once again, we have spoken about him before. So, is Chalobah good on the ball in the first phase? Yeah, he is. Again, he is a comfortable modern-day centre-back. He is happy receiving under pressure. I wouldn't say he's press-resistant, someone who's always going to dribble past players and things like that in the first phase. But he's comfortable receiving the ball with either foot. He can pass with his left, he can pass with his right. He's very safe and solid. In terms of in possession, where he's really shining, if you like, and thriving, is with his ball carrying. Particularly on the outside of a back three structure, which we could see at United next season. Chalobah is very good at striding forward into midfield, committing opposition players towards him before then releasing the ball to someone else. Chalobah is brilliant at doing that, and it could be a really useful tool for United to have. In terms of his passing game, he's decent on the ball. I wouldn't say he is anything special with his passing range. His long switches are pretty good. But in terms of progressive passes through the lines or balls over the top, he's okay without being great. Where he is great, however, is the defensive side of the game. And again, particularly that role where you are dragged wide into 1-versus-1 situations. For me, Chalobah is one of the most underrated 1-versus-1 defenders because of his ability to adjust his stride length to match the opposition winger. So as his player is dribbling, Chalobah is very good at matching them before then using his physicality and again his technique to get across the opponent, put a tackle in, win the ball back for his side. If he signed for United, he would definitely be our best channel defender. I think he's absolutely brilliant in these areas. And then the last box he needed to tick was aerially. Does Chalobah do this? Yes and no. A little bit like Tapsoba, he is strong in the air. He's a tall, physical, powerful presence. He's not afraid of using his head, but he's not elite at it either. So again, I guess that's the downside. On the ball, he is very comfortable, very calm, very confident, and he is good at carrying the ball forward. His passing is decent without being great. In terms of his wide defence, his 1v1 defence, I think he is top, but then aerially it brings him down a little bit. But again, for the price that you would be looking at, I think he's another really good option for United.
So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, JerseyFifa.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. And also make sure to use code JerseyFifa for 10% off when you order.
Next up, we've got another 6'3" player, 25 years old. I am, of course, talking about Danso, a player who has been spoken about a few times over the past year or so, but I've never really done a piece on him. What is Danso? How good is he? How good is he at playing football? To be honest, he's pretty darn good. He's pretty impressive and an excellent opportunity on the market currently. Very, very comfortable playing with the ball from the back. He is very calm in these areas. He's very confident. Again, he can use both feet, which is really useful for getting out of tricky situations. When you are being pressed, the ability to use either foot gives you a bit more scope to play out from the back. So Danso is good in that way. He is also good as the ball moves forward, particularly with his ball carrying. This is an unbelievably strong ball carrier. Someone who almost looks like he would rather drive into midfield than anything else. He absolutely loves driving forward with the ball into these areas, and he's absolutely brilliant with it. He uses his big size to protect the ball, so as players are going to close him down, he uses that straight arm to kind of get them away from him, keep the ball for his side, but importantly, actually progress the ball for his side as well. So Danso is very strong in that respect. However, unfortunately, his passing isn't quite as good. His ball carrying does carry a little bit when it comes to progression. He's not a great forward passer, although again he's not a bad one, and perhaps he doesn't have to be elite if we've got Lissandro Martinez next to him. But I would like to see improvement in that area. He's young enough that he could improve, but yeah, I would like to see a bit of work there. Somewhere where he doesn't need much work is aerially. We're talking about one of the most dominant aerial defenders, I think, in Europe at the moment. He's absolutely brilliant. The second that ball comes up in the air towards a striker, Danso is given the license to be aggressive, step out from the defence, go and be assertive. He's brilliant in the air. Physically, he is very, very difficult to get past. He's also really difficult to get past because he is an athlete. He is tall, strong, as we've said already, but he's really, really quick, deceptively quick. The way he kind of munches up the ground is really impressive. He is great at tracking back towards his own goal. And again, for that reason, he would be a brilliant option. I would, though, have one concern with Danso, and that would be his 1-versus-1 defence. In terms of racing for a loose ball, he's brilliant. He's fast, he's strong, he gets there. Actually, 1-versus-1, I think he can be a little bit caught out by players that move the ball quickly, kind of shift their body weight quickly. Agile wingers dribbling up against him would be a slight concern in my opinion. There's something to watch out for. But again, Danso on the market is clearly an excellent opportunity for United. Another 25-year-old 6'3" defender who could be a good opportunity for United this summer is actually Singo. Formerly a right wing-back, and then a right-back, and now borderline a right centre-back, or a bit of a hybrid player. Singo is certainly versatile to say the least, and the reason he is so versatile is because physically and technically he's got a very good foundation, a very good base. So we'll start off with the technical, receiving the ball. Is he good in these areas? Yeah. Despite being a tall, big player, he's got really quick feet. He is quickly able to shift the ball from one foot to the other, and again that improves his ability to play out from the back. Although I will say at times, it comes across as a little bit clumsy. He's actually quite effective with the play out in his first touch, in his control, but it can be a little bit cumbersome at times. It's not the smoothest and most aesthetic thing you'll ever see. But like I said, he is still effective. He can carry the ball forward, and that probably comes from his fullback days. He is used to being given that license to step into these areas. Singo is very comfortable in this position, moving forward into midfield, taking the ball with him, stepping into these areas. Again, kind of drawing players towards him, creating room for someone else to receive. Singo would be very effective in that way. Now, unfortunately, Singo is another one where, when it comes to his passing, he's not quite as good as perhaps what you might want. Again, he is still only very young, so he could develop in that area. He could improve his ball-playing ability in a high possession side, should United become that. So yeah, he's good on the ball. He's very strong with the carry. Technically, he's quite secure. But passing work, I would like to see a little bit more. In terms of the defensive side, potentially, he's not there yet, but potentially an elite level 1-versus-1 defender. Because, again, he used to play fullback, right? He's used to being in 1-versus-1 situations. His physical prowess in these areas is terrifying, to be honest. Can you imagine you're a small, nimble winger, and this big 6'3" guy comes over, powering towards you. He's absolutely rapid, but he is so strong as well. I would not want to go 1v1 with him. That's all I'll say. 1 versus 1 defensively, very, very strong. Could become elite with a little bit of work. I think he is great in these areas. And he's also very strong in the air as well. Again, he uses his big body. He's got a good leap. He uses his upper body well to protect himself. And he heads the ball well as well. The only concern for me with Singo defensively is because he used to be a right wing back, then a right back, then a centre back. Just actually how good is his box defence? Is he great in these areas when the ball's coming in from wide? Does he really want to go and defend in that situation? That's where my concern would lie. Although again, for the price that he would cost, you know, he'd be relatively cheap. You're never going to get the finished article. You are, though, getting a very good player with a lot of potential, so again, I like the idea of Singo. The final option on the list is the tallest, but also the oldest player on the list. 6'3.5", I believe. 27 years old. I'm talking about Agbodo, a name which you perhaps have not heard, but I would recommend that you go and check him out. I've been watching him recently. He's a really nice player. Now, because of his age, you are probably signing him as a backup player. He'd probably cost no more than £15 million. But he's a really good footballer here. We found a bit of a gem. I think he is very, very underrated, and more people should be looking at him. In terms of why they should be looking at him, because he can do a bit of everything. Technically, very secure. Arguably the most secure player on this list, apart from Tapsoba. Very good with the ball at his feet. Again, using both feet. And actually what he does have is the ability to manipulate the opposition. A bit like Lisandro Martinez, how he will almost lure the opposition onto him in these deep positions. Agbodo's got that a little bit. Agbodo likes to receive the ball before then manipulating the opposition. That might be by kind of changing his body language, shifting himself to open up a different angle, or by moving the ball onto the other foot. The aim always being to move the opposition, move the ball, and then get the ball forward through the lines. Agbodo is really good at doing this, and in general he's a good passer as well. Very comfortable playing out from the back, and he would be a useful asset for Manchester United in that area. He's also decent with his ball carrying as well. Probably the worst on this particular list when it comes to carrying, but I wouldn't describe it as an area of massive weakness. He is still very solid in this department. He is still, again, comfortable with the ball at his feet. He's got the power, he's got the size, he can step forward into these areas. I almost feel at times he needs to be a little bit braver with the way that he does it, but again, he is a very, very solid ball carrier. And then defensively, he uses those attributes like the rest of them do. The power, the athleticism, the strong 1 versus 1 defense. He's ticking all those boxes again. Very strong in this wide position, and he is perfectly suited to kind of a wide centre-back role in a back three. And again, United could create that with our possession shape next season. Of course, we'll have to wait and see. But if we do, Agbodo could be a really good squad option for us. Someone who can come in from the bench and bring a very similar skill set to the other 4 players that we just spoke about. He could be the perfect squad backup player. The only weakness is aerially. Again, it's not a massive weakness. I mean, he's 6'3.5". He's never going to be weak in the air, but it's not a major strength either. He isn't elite. He could use his body a little bit better, particularly his arms, to protect himself. But in general, again, pretty strong in the air, but I would like to see improvement. Will we get that at 27 years old? I'm not too sure. But again, if we're talking about a £15 million deal, you're not going to get the complete package at an elite level, are you? What you are going to get, though, again, is technically and physically a very, very solid player. And as you can see, whilst the Todibo news is a bit of a bummer, you know, it's annoying, it's frustrating for Manchester United, there are still plenty of options out there. The right centre-back market is stacked this summer. Those are some of the guys that I think United should be watching. I will also be watching them all more regularly now. You know, I'm going to go back and find some of their footage to watch them more. So if you want an individual video on any of these players, let me know in the comments down below. And also, while you're there, just let me know your thoughts in general on the Todibo situation, on these 5 centre-backs, but also some other options as well. But apart from that, we've finished for today. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.